Everybody, a couple of great stories tonight that we're going to touch on. Ghosts, the Night Gallery coming right up. Here we go.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hey, everybody, welcome to Late Horror Show. I am Dino, as always. I don't know who else I would be. Welcome to the Night Gallery. We're going to talk about Season 1, Episode 3, called The House / Certain Shadows on the Wall. They are both ghost stories in a way and very, very interesting. I might need a little help at the end of the first story, The House. I know a lot about ghosts, but I might. Anyways, we'll talk about it. Let me say hello to everybody. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. Check out the description below, link in the chat, all that good stuff. Thank you. Overnight tonight, we do got CBS Radio Mystery Theater. It is uploaded, so it's going to premiere. It is not live. It is a premiere. Same thing as live, except it's been uploaded already. I got an early day tomorrow with my son for track, and I'm going to make it there, so I'm not going to miss that. That is going to be awesome. It's his first indoor track meet of the year, and I can't wait to see the pole vault, the long jump. Anyways, let's say hi to everybody. Connie Clary, Sweet Indigo, Edward Stewart, Graham Seidel. What's going on, JLR? Graham, good to see you. Good to see you here. Black Roses is here. I know that. Paul Ham. Who else is here? Black Roses, but good to see you. It's I don't know. It seems like forever since I've seen you. I don't know why. Stuff going on, I'm sure. Anyways, J.O.B. A track on a Sunday. Yes. The high school kids have track in these colleges up here in the northeast part of the country because it's cold outside. So must have been the only day they could get it. But yeah, track on a Sunday. Anyways. Thank you, Connie. I appreciate that. Before I get into this episode of the Night Gallery, let me just say that tomorrow night, me and Dave Plouffe will be talking, remembering Art Bell. We're going to talk about reverse speech, and a guest that Art Bell had on his show called John Oates, who did a lot of reverse speech, playing the record backward or speech or digital or whatever recording, playing it backwards and seeing what you would get out of the recording. So that is what we're going to be doing tomorrow. And then I've got Night Gallery for next week already, and Columbo. Me and Dave are going to do another Columbo episode next week. And then the following week after that, Kolchak. So we've got a good lineup coming up here for you guys. But anyways, hey, Francis McCloskey, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to know you. Anyways, the first one, the second story in this has a lot of the old favorites. It's got Agnes Moorehead, Suspense, a lot of other shows. But she plays the lead character just for a brief moment, and then, she passes on, but we'll talk about that. The first episode is called The House. The House. J.O.B. I did go for a run today. That's trackish. Yeah, listen, you're running. So there you go. Anyways, whatever's going on. The House. This was very interesting, and I've noticed with Night Gallery, it's very consumed. Very the stories, the shooting, the episode itself. Very isolated, and you got a couple actors, and that's all really playing. It's almost, I'm not going to say like theater-like, but maybe a little bit. I don't know. Soap opera-ish, like, I don't know. Anyways, we have these characters. We have the main character is Elaine Latimer, who is played by Joanna Pettit, who is just, she's got this, she doesn't look like she would have a sultry voice for a woman, but She's very beautiful, and she's played in a lot of stuff back in the day. Your regulars, I think she was even on Love Boat. You know what I mean? So, but a very sultry voice, a very beautiful voice, and you start right off with her in doctor's office, Dr. Peter Mitchell, who is Steve Franken. And you guys say, who is that? Man, he's got over 200 credits, mostly on TV. You know what? Let me go back, because there was something that he was on that I did want to touch on that I remember him from, that I can't remember. Oh, The Party. Steve Franken also played in The Party, 1968, with Peter Sellers. If you're a Peter Sellers fan and the Pink Panther and all of that stuff, if you haven't seen The Party, you have to watch it. Peter Sellers puts on such a good show in that movie that it's just unbelievable. But Steve Franken plays in that movie, and that's it. But in tons of clothes. WTF Horror and Sci-Fi, you are there too. Hello. Brian Kirk, yes, Brian Kirkham. What is going on? Good to see you. You, what's going on here? Hey, Stairway to Heaven backwards was wicked. Yeah, Joanna Pettit did more Night Gallery episodes than anyone else, Paul Ham says. That's good to know, because I can't wait to watch the rest of the episodes. Anyways, very beautiful, very beautiful. So you have this character, you have Elaine Latimer. She's seeing a psychiatrist, Dr. Peter Mitchell, because of anxiety, depression, all that kind of stuff. And they're having this last meeting of sorts. And there is another character later on that's going to be a real estate agent. It's kind of the only three characters in this story. His name is Pujo. Pujo, as in Pooh, and the man's name Joe. Pujo, but it's spelled differently. I don't know. He's a real estate agent. And there are questions about that too, because it kind of gets a little wacky at the end. And I'm like, well, if this goes Pujo, how does he play a role? Is he real? Is he a ghost real estate agent? Anyways, she's in the office talking to Dr. Peter Mitchell, and he's, usual thing when you're at a psychiatrist. You're sitting there, you're talking to him, you're telling him all your problems. And let's see, J.O.B. Yo, seriously, I was just talking about the Twilight Zone episode with the small spaceships. That's Agnes Moorehead in the episode, and you're talking about yes. I love that Twilight Zone episode. I love the sci-fi episodes in Twilight Zone. I really, really do. I love them all. But when the little robot, when it gets on the roof and it's like only this tall, I mean, it's so cool. But yeah, Agnes Moorehead was great. Come on, old time radio for sure. But lots of credits and movies and stuff like that. So to the story, she's talking to Dr. Peter Mitchell, and she's telling him about this dream that she's having. This dream where she's always it's the same dream all the time. Listen, tell me about it. I did a stream a while back about dreams, but mine was a little bit different. I think mine was just a little bit more than a dream. But anyways, she's dreaming. It's always the same. She's always in her car, driving down the road, the country road, the pond off to the side. You see ducks, everything else, and she makes her way to this big house, pulls up, gets out. And I do like that opening scene. She's just very slowly driving down the street, wind blowing through her hair, and in a convertible. I don't know what kind of car it is, but pulls up, and she gets out of the car, and she goes, and it's got this little knocker. I love the knocker. Some of these antique knockers on doors, man, I tell you, so cool. It's okay, son. Wish them into the cornfield. Great. Guys talking about Twilight Zone now. There you go. And you know what? Rod Serling, not as much control over Night Gallery, but like this was written by somebody else. Most of these stories are written by other people, not all of them, but Rod Serling hand in, mixing up the story, creating the screenplay, and you can tell he has a hand in them. But not so much like the Twilight Zone. Anyways, she pulls up, she hits the knocker, and she's just waiting for 20 seconds or so, and then she walks back to her car, and she keeps looking up at the window too. She's like looking up at the window, which is weird, strange, and she drives back off again. So this is what she's telling the doctor is going on in these dreams. She said she has no idea. He's telling her, anything look familiar, anything from your childhood or anything? And she says, no, no, no. Edward Stewart, the outside of the house in this episode and outside of the house in Heart to Heart are one and the same, right down to the white fence along the driveway. Very cool, Edward Stewart, always with the facts. There you go. Like Winnie the Pooh gone rabid, Cujo, Poojo. Yeah, listen, the spelling's maybe French. I don't know. It could be French. Anyways, like those old-fashioned glass doorknobs. Yes, yes, yes. They're very, very cool. Anyways, so there's a funny thing that happens while she's in the doctor's office too, because, you're timed. You think the psychiatrist really cares, I'm sure most of them care, you know what I mean? But you see the clock in front of him. Evidently, it's an alarm clock or whatever. And it's the ones where the numbers tick over, like they're little flaps. Does anybody remember those? They're little flaps in it. It goes over, I think it's a 10:55, something like that. And the alarm goes off and he closes it. He presses on the tape recorder, ends. But he does still talk to her, but session is closed. And he does say that, well, I guess you'll be leaving us. And I'm like, leaving you? What do you mean? Oh. So, yeah, I guess she's better. And, she's not afraid to go out into the world. She's crocheting too. She's got this thing that she's crocheting that she carries around with her through the entire story. Not and like when she's most of it, like when she's even in the house and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. I'm like, what's with that? But anyways, so yeah, she's going to get ready and she leaves. Hey, Laura, I heard you're going through some stuff. Hopefully you're feeling fine and doing okay today. No, they care for money. Yeah. Well, listen, Laura, Pujo, when the honey goes bad. It's a Good Life is the episode. You guys are talking about something else. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to catch up. There's not much to the story, but she leaves the doctor's office after that, and she's driving away, which I would think she's done many, many times before. But this time, as she's driving, she realizes that, oh my gosh, this is the dream. And I was wondering, well, why didn't you realize this every time you left the doctor's office? Or did she just pop into some kind of reality as she left the doctor's office, where the countryside is looking the same as her dream and all that? I didn't quite understand that. Feeling okay, says Laura. Good. Yes. Big hugs. So she's basically leaving doctor's office and I think living the dream that she just has over and over and over again. And so she's looking and she's going, what? This is interesting. What's going on? And she pulls up, and, she sees the pond. She pulls up in front of the estate. And yeah. Right before that happens, and before she leaves, as she's leaving, there's an old woman sitting in a wheelchair. And the nurse is telling her, she's leaving us. She's gone. And the old woman basically says, old woman basically says, good riddance to her. She seemed to just be in some kind of fluffy little dream state, and she just shuffled on by. And I'm just like going, is that a reason to hate somebody? I don't know. It was really weird. But she did end up throwing paper down on the ground, and the paper actually said, it was the home decor paper. You could see when she was holding it. I thought that was home decor in newspaper form. Paper said haunted, country estates revisited. So as Elaine is driving up to the estate, which we find out is haunted by the paper that we're shown right before this. She pulls up, and Pujo is off, and he goes, "Excuse me, hello, pardon me, can I help you?" So we're at Pujo. Let's see. Edward Stewart says Joanna Pettit was one of the last people to see Sharon Tate alive. She visited Tate at her Benedict Canyon home for lunch on that afternoon of August 8, 1969. Later that night was murdered by Manson. Wow. Okay, there you go. You get little bits of information here always. Panic Penguin. Thank you, Edward Stewart. Appreciate that. Playboy took interest in her 1968. Where she did a shoot scene. Huh. Oh, anyways. Okay. So Pujo comes over and starts saying, the previous owners have been gone for a few weeks. They're from the UK. I like later he says they're strange folk. The British are strange folk. Archie Bunker said that too, although he had other words for it. But he says it's for sale. He says it's for sale, and he says, "Do you want to see it?" So she goes in, and she basically, right when she goes in the door, she recognizes everything. She goes, "There's a fireplace with a picture hanging about." So she knows the whole layout of this house. And he's like, "Well, she's never been in there before." She's never been in there before. So that's the odd, peculiar thing about it. And she describes the upstairs, the bedrooms. She says there's a sewing room in the way back where she's always crocheting. So tips you off right away. I'm like going, oh, she may be the ghost or past life she lived there or something like that. But she's looking around, and he goes, well, to be quite honest with you, it's a haunted house. It's a haunted house. And he says, like, the 5 previous past, and then he goes on and on about how they're all crazy. It's what did he say? Because he did say a couple things that I wanted to say here. He says it's hysteria. They're just thinking this, and when you start telling stories, it goes down passes from one person to the next and the next, and then hysteria starts up. So every one of these families who end up moving out, it wasn't really haunted, although it really is haunted. And she says so to him, once she buys it, because he goes, listen, it's for sale for $60,000, and she goes, why so cheap? Before he said haunted, she's like, this could be 5 times worth that money. And he goes, well, it's haunted. So that's why it's so cheap. And she goes, yes, I'll buy it if I can move in today, which was odd. He says, we can drive down to the office a few miles away, sign the papers, get you right in here. So let's see. One movie that freaked me out was with Betty Davis, The Dark Secrets of Home Harvest. It was like a Walton house, but dark. Huh. Interesting. My mother worked at the federal prison Squeaky Fromme was at in 87 when she escaped, since Manson was brought up. Interesting, Brian Kirkham. Okay. I'm listening to the Beatles. Love you guys. Just wanted to say hi. Thank you, Ed Stathis, for letting me know that you're listening to the Beatles. Listen, I listen to Beatles quite often. I love the Beatles, one of the greatest bands in the world. Anyways, so she ends up buying the house, and then the next scene switches right over to her in bed, sleeping. And you also see the dream going on. She's sleeping in the house, but yet she's having a dream of her driving the car that she always does up through the countryside, pulling up to the estate, and then comes the knock, and it wakes her up in the house. So she runs down to try to get there to the door, and just misses the car. And again, the real estate agent pulls up and he says, "Oh, I was just passing by." And she says, "Did you see anybody?" He says, "No, didn't see anybody." Um, so I thought that was interesting, that scene, which she has again. Um, and it kind of winds up like that. That happens a couple times, and then finally she calls the psychiatrist. Okay, she's napping again. She's got the sewing crochet thing on her. I don't know, but she wakes up again. Hears that knock, runs down. You know, doesn't see her, and then she goes up and she calls the psychiatrist. She calls him back. Um, and while she's on the phone with him, she's telling him, about everything that's going on. There's a car pulling up as she's on the phone, and then she hears the knock again, and she comes back up onto the phone and tells him it was her. She says it was her, and that's basically kind of how the episode ends. Um, so all of the questions I have, and I love the episode. Hey, Vicky, what's going on? Vicky Array, good to see you. This episode definitely a different vibe than the last one. This one was a little bit more, it's ghostly, of course. It's a little bit, I'm not going to say duller, but it's different. It's different vibe altogether. But my questions for this story are, and if anybody has any idea, please let me. All the Beatles may have needed was love. All we need in the Late Late Show. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you very much. Yes, please. At first, you think she's having an out-of-body experience every night and haunting that house. Yes, Edward, it may be the case. When she's fully awake, her own ghost shows up at the end, but her needlework is. You got something else to say? Well, see, my problem with that is finished. She finally has the dream home. Okay, but okay, that's one direction to take it. Out of body experience. It's a dream that's happening over and over. Okay, but in the end, she was the ghost, I think, inhabiting the house. That's why she knew. But then, see, they're really messing with you in this episode because she's a ghost in the house. And if that's the case, then who's the person outside driving up, knocking on the door? Is that the real her outside? Because if that's the real her outside pulling up to the estate in the dream over and over, and even when she left the psychiatrist's office, she wasn't asleep. You know what I mean? So what is going on there? I don't quite get it. The real her pulls up, and if the real her's there, how is she a ghost in the house? And then if she's a ghost in the house and there's something fishy outside, she's just not living anymore in reality. Who's the real estate agent? Was he a ghost real estate agent? Pujo coming to her, and then the psychiatrist, what's going on there? So I was all sorts of confused. I don't know. You guys, if anybody has any answers, no worries, Francis. I answered to all spellings. Hello, Dino. How's things? Going good. I would think it was really her. Euler Greg, cheers. I thought she was the ghost. Well, she was. See, that's what I'm saying. Everybody seems to have, it's a loop. Yes, residual energy. There's all of that going on. If it is residual energy in a loop, because that's quite possible too. In the house, what is she doing outside, knocking on the door in her dreams over and over? You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get down to, is Elaine alive and having dreams? Or is Elaine a ghost who's in this house, living in this house, dreaming of herself, or like Ed said, an out-of-body experience constantly during her dream state, coming up to the door and when she gets down there. But that gets thrown out as a theory, because when she's on the phone with the doctor at the end, she says, it's me out there. So it's all kinds of, you guys make up your own ideas. I don't, who's the ghostess with the mostest? Hey, Duck Dodgers, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, definitely good to see you, Duck Dodgers. Overnight tonight, CBS Radio Mystery Theater. Good mix tonight. And yeah, it is going to premiere. It is not going to be live just because I have an early track meet with my son tomorrow. So that is what's going on tonight. And yeah, listen, chat's been dead a lot lately. I hope that some of you are still having fun in the chat. The thing is with, I'm not even getting into it. Trying to warn her. Let's see. Paul Ham says Elaine is alive. However, she is also haunting herself in an almost doppelganger type thing. Yeah, there you go. Paul Ham. I think that's well said. I think that's up there. There you go. I'm going with that. I'm going with although Edward had a good idea too with that out of body experience, but kind of threw it off at the end there when she was on the phone. So maybe the doppelganger thing. Yeah. So trying to warn herself she's going to die. It's almost like Happy Death Day, the movie where it goes over and over. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, now we're moving on to the second story, which is a little bit more sinister, and this is the one with Agnes Moorehead in it. Certain Shadows on the Wall. Certain Shadows on the Wall. Really, really enjoyed this one. This was unique, a little bit different when it comes to a ghost story. It's a little different, like in the way things happen. I also think Stephen, the brother, to Agnes Moorehead's character. Let's see, Emma Brigham. Agnes Moorehead plays Emma Brigham, an older woman who's kind of, she's always been sickly her whole life, always been sickly. And she's in bed, sickly and dying, and Stephen is a doctor who, Dr. Stephen Brigham, who his practice was failing, his sisters say, because she's got a sister named Anne, who is a tyrant, and Rebecca, who is always happy and smiling. Good traits. But Stephen has a problem with all of them. He's just an a-hole. So, I mean, I don't know how better to say it, but he quit his practice, which wasn't doing so well, to take on full-time taking care of his sister. Always having to read books and stories to his sister, and he was getting sick and tired of it. But yet, he wanted her gone. He wanted her gone. Let's see. Agnes Moorehead is the bomb. Let's see. Both stories, December 30th, 1970. Yes. Is she alive or is it Memorex? Duck Dodgers. Yep. There you go. Most nights I am listening, don't normally interact, but I am always around. Well, I mean, yeah, see, I don't, I let too much stuff flow out and I shouldn't. It's just unfortunate that a lot of the people that did chat aren't part of the channel no more because they did something to get themselves not on the channel no more, but they chatted all the time. And it just makes me mad that that's what happens. And then they go somewhere else and they're nice and they're not doing the things they're doing here. I don't get it. And welcome some back with open arms. And, so anyways, yeah. So when the chat slows down at night, people kind of lose interest to even chat here. So I try to as much as I can, but I'm just doing so much stuff. Anyways, getting back to the story, Certain Shadows of the Wall. Again, I always speak my mind for better or for worse, and sometimes get myself in trouble with people because I say it how it is, and some things piss me off sometimes. Again, half the internet is doing exactly what I'm doing every single night now. Am I mad? No, because you know, people see something that's going good, then they do it too. So, good luck to them and more power to them. And I'm not speaking to any individual. I'm just talking about YouTube across the line. You know what I mean? So wait till if they end up getting bigger and they start getting confronted with the situations I had to over the years here, makes things different, or maybe ignore it. I don't know. If you let chaos run wild in the chat, it'll be just that, chaos, and not a good place to stay in chat. But I'm finding out that you get rid of some of that stuff and the chat dies anyways because nobody else wants to chat. So I can't win for losing. But anyways, getting back to it. There we go. The soul transfer protocol. What is going on? I have been unpacking, working, not feeling so. Oh, no, I know you've been sick, Laura. Hopefully, again, and I know, I see it. So hopefully hopefully you do good. Certain shadows on the wall. Stephen's sick of taking care of Agnes Moorehead. He basically puts some tranquilizers, which are slowly killing her, in her water, in her drink, because she needs something for pain. He goes, "I'll go get you." It sounded like he said, "I'll go get you some Tylenol," but he didn't really. And listen, love each and every one of you guys. Much love to each and all of you. Please don't take anything I ever say to heart, because you guys are here. I love you guys. Okay, shut up, Dino. Okay, so he's killing her basically, and he's going to get away with it because he's the doctor. And when he calls in for the funeral, because let me say, let me go along here, because when he calls in for the funeral after she dies, Emma's in sick, dying. I took some notes. Something for pain. She asks how much time. She goes in at, how much time do I got? And he's just sick of hearing it. And he's like, just think of when we were younger as kids doing fun stuff and things like that. But he says something before he walks out the door. And it's interesting because she says, how much time do I got? And he goes, man proposes and God disposes. I thought that was a very interesting saying that he said there. Duck Dodgers, Dino, sir, I'll always come back here. This is home. Yep, Duck, love you, man. I feel that, Dino, sorry, have not been around. No, all good, Black Roses. Yeah, all good for everybody. Firefrost, I catch the lives when possible, but listen, most times past year has been, all I care about is that the people overnight listening to my show, it's helping you stay out of pain. It's helping you get some sleep. It's helping with any troubles that you have in life. That's what I've always had this channel for. Secondary, it was always a nice place that everybody can congregate and talk and catch up, like morning coffee with Emily and you guys getting together in the morning. There was a time, it was so fun when we all gathered right before the stream, and I swear to God, sometimes it was an hour before everybody stopped saying hello to each other. You know what I mean? So it was just cool. But like everything, things kind of slow down, chill down. People end up having to go because their mouths go too much and things get said. And what did I do? What did I do? You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So yeah, it's one of those streams tonight where I'm just going off. Okay, back to this. So that was a very cool line where he says, man proposes and God disposes. So from that point, he goes down and he confronts Rebecca and Anne, the two sisters. And Anne is there, I think, crocheting too in the rocking chair. And Rebecca, they're both just spinster sisters. And Stephen kind of says that, and he's walking around like he owns the joint, which I guess he kind of does. I don't know what's going on there. He belittles Rebecca. And let's see. Rebecca always smiles. Yes, Rebecca. He belittles her. He says, "You're always smiling. You're going to be nothing but a spinster." And it's just like, come on, what's wrong with that? I wanted to smack the guy and the tyrant. Well, she's got a brother like you to put up with. I mean, come on. But anyways. let me get to the chat real quick here. I wish I didn't have to work tomorrow. Certain shadows on the wall is one very memorable as a twist with a turn of greed, like a guy getting what he meant for. Yes, Edward Stewart. Yep. It helped a lot, Dino. Played your lives most nights for the father before he died. He enjoyed the shows too. Firefrost. Exactly. That's all I care about, man. The chat is like family, JLR. Yep, exactly. That's why it's sad to see people. Stairpike, where are you? I know where you're at. Anyways, love you, Stairpike. Jagnud, what's going on? Good evening, all. Thank goodness for warmer weather. Yes, great performances in this episode. I enjoyed the Halloween party, Francis McCloskey. Yes, I did too. You guys, we'll be hanging out soon again too. Definitely. It's been a long year. Can I just say that? It's been a long year. A lot going on. Heck, I even, there were parts of this year I've even considered just like some of these YouTubers saying, I just quit. I've had some of those days, and I'm like going, this is supposed to be fun. And for the most part, it is like hanging out with you guys, getting to do the thing with Dave, even chilling to the overnight, but it's a lot of work. And I don't think people, well, I think a lot of you guys understand that, but man, there were days, and I don't know, to be quite honest with you guys, I'll probably always do something on this channel, but I don't know how long this is going to go on for. And I'll get to the end of this story because it is interesting, but I don't know how long. I could wake up tomorrow and say, you know what? I'm just done. I'm just done. It's getting to that point sometimes. I don't know. Again, I still love it. Still love everybody. It's just a lot of hard work. But let me see. A long year. It's not even a month old. Duck Dodgers, no. Listen, a 12-month period, Duck. Not just 2024, a 12-month period. How about that? Is that better? Drama sells. You need more drama on your shows, Dino. No, I don't want drama. And listen, and I don't want no hate. I don't want no drama. All I do is take care of the channel itself. It's my channel. It's our channel as a family, the Late Late Horror Show. So when things happen, usually in the chat or in Discord, behind the scenes, where people are messaging each other, saying, come over here, do this, or all kinds of things and theories and ideas that you guys wouldn't even believe that goes on behind the scenes. And then people that you loved to talk to and chat are gone. You wonder why. And if you guys know me for any length of time, you know if they're gone, it's for a reason. I'm not just going to get rid of somebody from the chat. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. Anyways, it's only 27 days. Yeah, I didn't mean this year. I meant 12-month period. Edward, I still have to watch the show. I only saw 2 episodes of the Chucky TV show. I still am yet to see the Chucky TV series. That's for sure. Yeah, see, drama sells. 43 people watch. You see, I mean, I start going on a rampage about stuff, and look what happens. But and well, how does that happen? I don't know. John Swan, dang, late again. No problem. You could always rewatch. Rough year for family and all that. Okay, anyways. So, listen, the end of this story is kind of short anyway. So, boy, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about after this. Maybe I can continue my rant after I talk and finish this story up. So, the ending of the story pretty much is he calls the funeral home up. They take away Emma. Okay. Agnes Moorehead's dead. They start throwing out little hints like Rebecca and Ann, the sisters, to Stephen, the brother, that, think you wanted her gone. I think you just wanted her gone. Yeah, longtime members have seen people come and go. That's for sure. Some I miss. Some are blessed subtractions. Brian Kirkham. Yes, there you go. Exactly. And that's the sad part of it. Even some of the ones that did have to be booted, it's a shame that they're gone, but what they did was uncalled for. So Rebecca stands up and asks, she goes, let's get another doctor. She asked that too, right before she passes on. And he goes, what? No, I got a plan in motion where I'm going to kill her, and I'm going to take the, again, the will states that the money is split up 3 ways between all 3 of them, the 2 sisters and him. After she dies, Emma, he tells Rebecca, because he's in his sitting room, he's writing down a full list of inventory from everything in the house. Hey, Bubba, what's going on? Good to see you. Of everything in the house, how much it's worth and everything else, because he plans on just auctioning it all off and selling the house. And Rebecca goes, oh, and she did come up with tea. She came up with tea for him. And yeah, he thinks he's just going to, they have no say so. It's him 1, them 2, but he's going to sell everything, and he is going to split it halfway. Legally he has to, but they have no say so. She's like, where would we go? Where would I go? And I felt sorry, and I'm like, oh, I want to slap you again, Steven. But anyways, he wanted a fire sale. Yeah. Coffee Shop of Horrors. What is going on? Yes, check out Coffee Shop of Horrors. They got such great coffee. Where's my, I'm drinking them. I think that's why there's not a packet down here right now. But anyways, Coffee Shop of Horrors. Yes, go check it out. I'm good, coffee, and you. Man, good coffee sounds right about now. But she brings the tea, Rebecca, the one that's always smiling, the naive one, the one he called, you're gonna die a spinster, old woman. You gotta and it's kind of turns out kind of like arsenic and old lace a little bit. I think maybe a little inspiration from that story. Because as she's ready to leave the room, she's brought him the tea. She goes, oh, I found this bottle of sedatives or whatever you were giving our sister. It's here. You know, I found it. And he's like, just his eyes just come up. He goes, oh, yes, sedative. Yes. You know, and she gives it back to him. So he must have thought she gave it back to him. The tea's all right. But she put a whole mess in the tea to kill him. And as Anne said later, right after the scene, because it's Anne and Rebecca basically at the bottom of the stairs talking about, oh, I didn't even mention the biggest part of this whole story, certain shadows on the wall. The whole thing about this story is as soon as Emma dies, how did I miss this? Because I'm talking drama, right? When she died, her shadow side profile showed up on the wall. It showed up on the wall, her shadow. Stephen couldn't scrub it off. He moved furniture. He said it's the lighting, making it look like, just making everything up because he can't believe that his sister's image is up on the wall. And he tried even painting it, which I don't understand that, because he's got a jacket with white paint all over it, and he tried to paint it. And after that, they show the sisters down there, and it's still wallpaper. So did he paint it white and then put wallpaper over it? I don't understand. Coffee Shop of Horrors, great. Just finished a Universal order and doing MegaCon now, about 1K bags in a day and a half. Wow, busy. Work schedule changed a bit, so getting to bed early. Sounds good, Coffee Shop of Horrors. Doing well, hitting the MegaCons, because Coffee Shop of Horrors, it's about horror and the bags. I mean, there's a late horror show one. Check it out. If you go to the website, that's actually my favorite. Although the one you just sent me during Christmas, it had the butter rum type. I forget what it was called. It's upstairs, and I don't know. It tasted so good, but I still like mine the best. Anyways, mint, and chocolate. Come on, miss staying up late. Yes, I hear you. Well, I still stay up late. But the shadow on the wall, and they could do nothing about it. And it didn't move or nothing. It just stayed. It was an imprint of Emma on the wall. That's it. So after Rebecca gives him the poison and he was going crazy over the shadow, I think that's why he just wanted to get rid of the house. He goes and dies because she gave him such an overdose. And they switch to a scene where Anne's playing on the piano. And no, Rebecca's playing the piano and Anne's in the rocking chair sewing, crocheting. And they're looking over at the wall and they're talking about, yep, something with these shadows on the wall. And then you look up on the wall and you see Emma is still there, her shadow, but you see the shadow of the now dead Stephen, the brother, and he's actually moving. His shadow's on the wall now and he's rocking. He's rocking. So I don't know if it's a shadow of him in the rocking chair or if it's his shadow on the wall, but you hear him reading to Emma. So all the greed, like Edward said earlier, all the greed and everything else and money and all that stuff, I think that's what part of the story is all about. You know, he wanted so much and he killed Emma. Emma's getting her revenge, kind of. It's his own living. Although Emma, I don't think she did nothing wrong. Why should she be stuck in limbo on that wall? Mainly probably because she didn't want to die. And she told him that. I want to live life. I want to live. So she's stuck there. And now Stephen is in limbo, reading her forever, the thing he hated the most, reading her stories, and you hear it. And it's just, if I was the two sisters, I would go, yeah, I think maybe we have to sell this house after this, or at least don't go in that room. Or I don't know. I couldn't have two shadows, a shadow of my sister and a shadow of my brother. And my brother, you can actually hear him reading stories. That would be really weird and freaky and scary. Yeah, back on the Dickens. Yes, Ian Sharp. She talks and he hears her. Yeah, I do drink tea. I'm ordering the Late Late Horror Show flavor now, Bubba. Awesome, awesome. And listen, you won't regret it. It's good stuff, man. All of the flavoring that they do in their coffee is just really, really good. He sent me maybe 3 or 4 different flavors during Christmas, and I appreciate it so much. That was really awesome. It was really good. I'm Southern to my core, but I'm not crazy about iced tea. I hear you, Laura. You know what? Sweet tea. You know, it depends what you're eating. Sweet tea can really taste like raspberry sweet tea, peach sweet tea, like you get at the restaurants where it's just good quality tea. Really does taste pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I mean, this episode, not as good as the last one, but 2 pretty good ghost stories, you know, 2 different types of ghost stories. I really do like it. I think it's awesome. All these coffee producers, I am just a boring Folgers man. The freeze dried up in the cabinet. You put a cup. There's a Seinfeld episode where they talked about coffee. Mr. Bookman comes in, and when Jerry had the overdue book, and asks him about the overdue book, and Jerry offers him tea, and he goes, "You got some coffee?" And he goes, looks in the shelf. He goes, "No, I don't got any coffee." He goes, Mr. Bookman goes, "Well, who doesn't have coffee? Everybody's got coffee. How can you not have coffee? You buy a jar of the Folgers Crystals. It's freeze dried. You put it up in your cupboard. It lasts forever. And anytime anybody wants a cup of coffee, it's right there." I mean, you know, so I always remember that. But yeah, listen, it tastes good too. But coffee shop of horse. I prefer hot teas. That is good too, Connie. Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, that's basically it. Coffee, can't drink it. Oh, you know what? Duck Dodgers, I love coffee, but boy, the caffeine, it could even be decaf. It hits me really, really hard. Anyways, tomorrow night, me and Dave Plouffe, we are doing Reverse Speech, Remembering Art Bell. So we'll be talking a little bit of Remembering Art Bell, our series, our ongoing series that we're doing. And that will be, listen, you guys got a couple questions or something, please feel free to ask. Tea is so hard to get and resell, costs a lot. We only sell lemon, ginger, green tea, coffee shop of horrors. I hear you. Coffee, produced. Anyways, um, I love the story behind where you get your actual coffee beans. Is it another distributor, or do you know this location somewhere where you get these perfect beans? I just, yeah, that would be really cool. My wife for me some good loose leaf teas, Happy Camper coffee. Very cool. So yeah, me and Dave Plouffe tomorrow night. That'll be cool. And I got Night Gallery next week. Columbo next Sunday with me and Dave. We are doing Now You See Him from season 5, episode 5. And then on February 15th, I will be having a ufologist, alien researcher, Katie Page, will be on from the Travel Channel. She's been on many shows and Coast to Coast AM, you name it. She's going to have, that's going to be a good show, really good show. Really good show. And again, CBS Radio Mystery Theater tonight is a premiere. It's not live, it's premiere. So it'll still show up like live, but it just says premiere. So hopefully you guys enjoy that tonight. It should be a good stream. Put together a lot of good episodes. Fixed audio and all that as best as you can, and all that good stuff. And yeah, and I'm going to get up early tomorrow and see my son do his track meet, very first of the indoor season. And being 15, being a sophomore in high school, I'm hoping to see what he can do tomorrow. He's already about 13 feet in pole vault. That's starting to get close to the record. Long jump, we'll see tomorrow. But this summer I had him over 20. The record for the school is 22. So listen, I'm proud dad, and I can't wait till tomorrow to see what. And he's doing hurdles too. 55 indoor meter hurdles, high hurdles. So good stuff tomorrow. I can't wait. So with that said, listen, it's close to an hour. Yeah, I mean, can't keep these are two simple stories, really. Not a whole lot going on in these stories. They're pretty basic, pretty simple. Edward Stewart, good luck tomorrow, Dino. Hope he breaks the record. Not this meet, I doubt he will, but maybe if he breaks it this year, Edward, as a sophomore, whew, think of what he can do the next 2 years, man. The long jump record is 22 feet. I mean, and that lasted in our District 1 school, so it's a smaller school, for like 40 years. So, I mean, oh, I'm just so excited. Thanks, everybody. Good luck to my son. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy, Dino. Thank you. My youngest was a long distance runner. I could never do long distance. Howard Mann, don't understand what any of that means. Congrats. I hope it goes well. Good luck. Thank you, Coffee Shop of Horrors. And with that said, yeah, I'm going to end the show, and I will see you tomorrow night with Dave Plouffe. Yeah, nothing else